Hi, everyone. It's Dr. Arlene Dijamco, the MultiDimensional MD. I am hopping on here a little bit later today um, because it's important for me to be here, and I didn't get a chance to earlier today. But I really wanted to be able to speak today. And my mission, as always, is to bring the intuitive spirit back to medicine in practical and tangible ways so that you can access deeper healing and experience more peace, love, and joy in your everyday lives. And today's episode was inspired by a friend of mine, a dear friend that recently transitioned. So every week I will sit and meditate on what to talk about. And the interesting thing is, I heard her voice and I heard her say to me, "Talk about what I loved." And, um, and I was wondering, how am I going to do that? Like, what will I talk about? Like, what about what she loved? And I kept hearing, "Just talk about what I loved." And when I sat and reflected on it, she loved the little things, from the tiniest of babies in the NICU to tiny knick-knacks to little words of encouragement or solace. So, this episode is dedicated to her spirit and love of the little things. And this is episode 220 of the Multidimensional MD. The little things are big things. I heard Jim Carrey say recently in a video that I came across it was a video from some years ago. Um, and he was in Hawaii in 2018 when a message was sent out that missiles had been launched and he had 10 minutes to live. He got a call from someone he was working with, and she said this was real. And he didn't have time to go anywhere. He couldn't get in touch with his daughter. So he started giving thanks to everything he could in his life, knowing it had already been a good run. And he said it brought him to a state of grace. So I know anytime we're faced with that fine line between human life and death, we're given an opportunity to consider what really matters to us. And I think about this time, this when we get really close to that veil, or we're with a loved one that's really close to that veil or has transitioned, then I think about those moments, like when Jim Carrey said, it brought me to a space, a feeling of grace, of giving thanks. So when anytime I have challenges or disagreements, material concerns, or wanting things to be perfect, I'll sometimes consider, will it matter when I cross over? Do I need to ruminate on these concerns, or can I let go and trust I'll be guided? And so this is a symbolic gesture that I'll make when I need to remind myself to hand over challenges to spirit. I'll take the issue in my hand, and then I'll take my hand and then I'll open that fist up, either palm up like this, or I'll take it and point it downwards, as if I'm dropping it into an infinite well of trust. So either palms up like it's towards the sky, the infinite sky, or downwards into this infinite well of trust. Either way, whatever represents that to you most easily. And in doing that, you're taking something that's an idea, that's an energy, that's an intention, and giving it a 3D symbol to help it manifest into your human reality. So let's get back to the little things. And when loved ones cross over, it is all those little things about them that I miss. Their quirks, their laugh, the way they walk and talk. I miss their humanness and being in the world. I missed that when my dad crossed over, and I know I've mentioned this before, that it was during COVID times, and there was so much grief related to those times, but and afterwards he felt like so joyful and blissful. So you didn't have any of the hurts of being human, but I missed that humanness still because because there was something so raw about it, and it's this quality of the soul's journey through this human experience that brings some authenticity to it, that we are able to love and have joy and feel happiness, but we're also able to feel sad and grief and hurts. And when we transition, we're not weighed down by these densities, and so we're in this different dimension. So when I think about the purpose of life and the soul's journey, the majority of living is that in the seemingly in between moments. So it's those moments that might seem mundane, that they don't even matter as much, but it is the little things that are the big things. The way we live when we are simply being in the world is a pure expression of our essence. So you can think of it like a newborn. Think of how a newborn is. A newborn simply is. They are a pure expression of themselves. There's no trying, there's no containing, there's no pushing away. They are simply themselves. They are small and vulnerable and beautiful and lovable just as they are. They don't have to prove themselves. There's no such thing as not good enough. We are still like that, just a little bigger. But think of our size in terms of the earth and the sun and the whole universe. We are small. We are smaller than a speck on a speck. Maybe there is something bigger than us looking at us in that nurturing way and taking care of us. And maybe that something that's bigger than us is thinking how small and vulnerable and beautiful and lovable we are, and thinking that we don't have to prove ourselves and that there's no such thing as a not good enough. So, what are these little moments that are big moments? They are the every moment. And what is your state of being when no one is watching? What is your state of being when interacting with others? What is your state of being when you feel loved and understood? What is your state of being when you don't? All of those states are beautiful because they are part of your soul's journey. Sometimes we are the giggling baby. Sometimes we are the crying baby, and lovable just the same. Consider that in your everyday moment. How do you drink your water? Eat your meal? How do you express your love for loved ones? How do you express your love for yourself? Sometimes gracious and sweet, sometimes mad and sad. And all of those states of being are precious, and we are precious in these states of being. We can think about the many tiny treasures in a day, and I'll just, offer so many different examples, and then you can come up with your own tiny treasures in a day. It could be a baby smile, a flower bud, little sproutlings, the sun rays passing between the leaves, just peeking through, morning songbirds, a perfect bite of food, tea time, sending a note to a friend or receiving a note from a friend, the feeling of a sincere thank you, the way the clouds change shape across the sky, the feel of a soft cloth, sharing a meal, whether with loved ones, people, or furry loved ones, or simply sharing a meal in nature. The morning dew and that fresh morning air. Opening a book to any page and reading a line and seeing how it speaks to you. Thinking of someone you love, whether here on earth or beyond. The sound of your voice, the sound of music, the twinkling stillness of the night sky, the first splash of water on your face in the morning, wearing your favorite color, moving your body, the sparkle in someone's eye. We could go on and on and on about all of these tiny treasures in a day and those little moments, those little things that really are big things. What does this have to do with our health? It's how we ever accomplish anything, a little bit at a time. And the inscription that I write in my book when signing, I am intuitive, is I write inside, small steps done consistently create miraculous results. Keep believing in the miracle of you. I'll say that again. Small steps done consistently create miraculous results. Keep believing in the miracle of you. That what appears big are a bunch of small steps put together, just as each small moment put together builds a lifetime. So can we create more connection, more love, more health. And it's in choosing to take those small steps that we are creating, and what we create in this moment, and then create in the next moment, and then the next moment, and the next moment. All those steps build together to create this ginormous nest of love, that creation of our lives where we can experience that joy and beauty of living. We can experience the health that comes from inside of us, and that can be expressed in each of our cells, because the infinite is also in the infinitely small. There's a universe in each of our cells. Think of the Dr. Seuss book, When Horton Hears a Who, and the whole tiny world exists on the speck of a flower. Each of our cells is like that, with this potential cloud of electrons and mostly space. Yet at the quantum level, the quantum particles are connected to everything else in the universe. Sometimes a group of cells or tissues or organs will, quote, forget that they are part of a whole body and start acting in discordance with the whole. Sometimes we humans can forget we are part of a whole earth and act discordant with the whole. What we can do is we can invite those lost parts of ourselves back home. Sometimes we listen, sometimes we don't. It's part of the human experience. It's all part of our soul growth. We are no more or less worthy of love because of our decisions. Think of an agape, grand, universal love instead of that romantic kind of love. There is a miraculousness in both the infinite bigness and the infinite smallness in the universe, as well as everything in between, which is made up of quantum tininess. But that quantum tininess affects and influences and ripples into the universal whole. So that interest that my friend had in the tininess of being, all the little things from the newborns to the tiny little creations, that is just as big as anyone's interest in the bigness of being, from astrology, astronomy, to the stars, to outer space, the depths of the ocean. So it's okay, whatever you're interested in. It's okay, whatever your gifts or your calling leads you to, because on that quantum level, the tininess is connected to the whole. And each has just as big an impact, because within each cell is a universe. And all those cells that make up you are your own universe. And your universe is interacting with all these other universes, which all together create the whole cosmos. So, can you imagine that infinity is interacting with infinity? It's enough to kind of make your mind not sure how to think about things. But that's okay because that's where miracles are when we don't actually know how to think about things. We don't know yet because the infinitely small and the infinitely big are so related. And so I give thanks to all the little things, which are really the big things. And I'm thankful for this small moment with you. I'm thankful to be a voice when it can feel hard to have one. I'm thankful for both the ups and downs that are part of my soul's journey, that are part of each of our soul's journey. For each of these moments is precious. And I am a precious part of each of these moments, as are all of you. So lots of love to you. It's Dr. Arlene Dijamco, the MultiDimensional MD. If you'd like to connect with me in other ways, you can on Instagram at All Worlds Health, on Facebook, All Worlds Health and Pediatrics, and my website, allworldshealth.com. I send out an email about once a week, and I'll be back here on most Wednesdays for another episode of the MultiDimensional MD. Lots of love to all of you. Take care.